Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're continuing our historical look at elemental boss fights in Zelda, this time with the most shocking electrified bosses across the series.
Do not allow this to be your end. Fight for your life and its death.
But before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Twilit Bloat, The Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess. In our list of the most disturbing bosses in Zelda, I went on a tangent about how disgusting this thing is, and I stand by it. But while it doesn't do too much in the electric field, it does enough to earn it a spot. Link must use his wolf senses in order to see this giant invisible bug. Its method of attack is to send electricity coursing through its body, then skid across the water trying to ram into Link. Should it connect, it'll definitely hurt. Still, the fight isn't too hard, thankfully, since you just had to collect a bunch of tears of light. After enough bites and attacks to its legs, the boss will be kaput. Vitrius, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Fought at the end of Misery Mire, Vitrius is another boss that's pretty gross. It's one big eyeball surrounded by a group of smaller ones, all sitting in a pile of green goop. To damage the boss, Link first has to deal with its minions. You have to destroy the smaller eyeballs, which fly forward to attack. Touching the goop to get rid of them faster will damage Link. But far more dangerous than that are the lightning blasts that Vitrius will periodically shoot, increasing in ferocity the more eyeballs you kill. After all the small ones are gone, Vitrius will leave the safety of its ooze to try and ram Link to death. But after a few sword or bow hits, it'll be defeated. Big Blue ChuChu, The Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap. While Link fights a big green ChuChu as the first boss in the Minish Cap, a more annoying one appears as the mini-boss in the Temple of Droplets. What makes this one more troublesome is simple. It has electricity running through its body. If it touches you while this is happening, it obviously won't feel pleasant. It's also immune while in this state. Otherwise, you use the same method to defeat this one as you do the first. You wait until the electricity dissipates, use the gust jar to remove mass from its base so that it falls over, where you can wail on it with your sword. Giant Buzz Blob, The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening DX. Added in with the Color Dungeon in Link's Awakening DX, and also present in the 2019 remake, the giant Buzz Blob looks similar to the big ChuChus of Minish Cap, but it's fought in a different manner. It spends the fight shooting electric blasts out of its 4 appendages, which is tricky to deal with in combination with how you damage it. You see, most weapons won't work, not even the sword. First, Link is meant to make it vulnerable by tossing magic powder on it. Then, it'll be open to attacks. It's not a hard fight once you know what to do, but on a first encounter, magic powder isn't the method you'll likely think to use. Baronade, The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. After being sucked inside Jabu Jabu's belly, Link's final challenge is to cleanse the massive fish of its parasitic monster, Barinade. It hangs from the ceiling, with Link trying to detach it with the boomerang while avoiding the deadly lightning blasts it constantly fires. Things get a little tougher once Baronade turns mobile. It floats around, spinning a group of jellyfish attached to its body via electricity. You can either get rid of the jellyfish or stun the boss, both accomplished with the boomerang to open it up to damage. After enough hits, Baronade will continue unleashing those pesky electric blasts until it's defeated. It's nowhere near the hardest boss in the game, but it is the most challenging up to this point. Electric Blob Queen, The Legend of Zelda: Triforce Heroes. Midway through the Riverside section in Triforce Heroes, you and your fellow Links will be confronted by another giant blob-shaped monster. which seems to be a developer favorite for electric bosses. This is actually the second one in the game after the easier electric Blob King in the woodlands. What makes the queen a bit harder is that she sits in a pool of water. That means when she fires off her electric blasts, you'll take damage for standing in an entire area as opposed to just in the beam's path. The links are meant to hit her core with an arrow, and then lift her out of the water using the water rod. But each time she'll raise higher, forcing you to form totems so you can reach that core. Plasmarine, The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Ages. Appearing in a different Jabu Jabu's belly, Plasmarine is one of the more annoying boss fights in Oracle of Ages. It isn't too difficult once you figure out your groove, but Link must fight underwater, with movement that isn't exactly ideal. The big jellyfish will either fire electric orbs towards you, or just swim right up and ram you, or electrocute you itself, keeping you constantly on the move. You're meant to use the long hook to swap places with it so that it's hit by its own projectiles. The more damage it takes, the faster it moves. So long as you've collected enough hearts throughout the adventure, Link should withstand the barrage and come out victorious. Smog, The Legend of Zelda, Echoes of Wisdom. Echoes of Wisdom brought this Oracle of Ages boss back for 2 fights and gave him an electric twist. In his first fight, Smog will traverse around blocks immune to sword attacks, and so Zelda will need to deal damage using echoes. However, he'll eventually split into several parts, and you'll need to use item echoes to alter their path and bring them back together. The second fight is fought basically the same way, just from a side-scrolling view. The whole time you're fighting Smog, you'll also need to avoid the electric projectiles he frequently fires off. It's a cool blend of puzzle solving and combat, as you need to think quickly while avoiding damage. Gleeok, The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. Well, they were on our fire and ice list, so no surprise to see them pop up here too. Just like its brethren, Gleeoks can hit like a truck. They can fire beams as well as gigantic blasts of pure electricity that will not only hurt, but make Link drop any metal weapons or shields if he has them equipped. You fight them the same way as the others, shoot their 3 eyes enough times to make them collapse, and wallop them with melee weapons. Once their health is low enough, they'll fly into the sky, producing deadly lightning bolts that can take off a huge amount of health should they hit. Thankfully, they also leave behind an updraft, allowing Link to reach them and bring them down. Thunderblight Ganon, The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild.
This thing is fast. Watch yourself.
Fought at the end of Divine Beast Va Naboris, Thunderblight Ganon is the most frustrating boss in Breath of the Wild. He'll zip around the arena with alarming speed and catch you off guard with a sword strike. He'll also produce electric orbs that, of course, force you to drop any metal equipment you're using, on top of hurting quite a bit. The second phase begins with him producing metal poles he'll send electricity coursing through. And unless you have the quick thinking to use magnesis on one, aiming his attack against him, that's going to hurt even more. Afterwards, he continues attacking like he did before, just with an electrified sword for extra damage. His difficulty depends on what equipment and meals you have going in, and when you fight him. Personally, Va Naboris was my second Divine Beast, so this boss was a giant pain in the ass. Did we leave off an important electrifying boss fight? And which of these left the biggest impression on you? Share your thoughts in the comments.